This video continues with the examination of the mid-range school of narcissism and deals with the division of the Middle Mid Range Narcissist, the MMRN. The Middle Mid Range Narcissist has a little charm, but his weapon is politeness and behaving in a respectable manner. He or she is well thought of. The Middle Mid Range Narcissist is not a huge attention seeker and does not exhibit grandiose behaviors. Instead, the MMRN wants to be well thought of by everybody. This person is intelligent and is likely to have a good job. Like any narcissist, the Middle Mid Range Narcissist is hugely sensitive to criticism and is more sensitive than most. This is because he lacks the dynamic aggression of the lesser or the malevolent charm of the greater, but instead feels constrained by his lack of ability to influence people in a sudden and meaningful manner. This means that the MMRN is an envious individual and is always looking to gain the advantage from covert and secretive means. He throws the figurative second punch, often piggybacking on the behavior of a greater, although of course he does not know that this is what that person is. The MMRN is two-faced, a spreader of gossip, and always looking to get other people to do his dirty work. He is cowardly, but will never countenance being called as such. He ingratiates himself with people through his intelligence and limited charm, and is prone to repeated pity plays. He is the archetypal architect of the silent treatment in all its forms, and heated fury is rare with him. If it does appear, it will be shouting, spitting, and slapping. He is an habitual liar, not just in a defensive manner, which is what lessers and the lower mid-range narcissists do, but also in a proactive manner, in order to cause trouble and cajole people into acting on his behalf through the dissemination of gossiping untruths. The fuel matrix of the MMRN is not extensive, but it is larger than that of the lower mid-range narcissist. A. The primary source. Rarely a family member, and nearly always an intimate partner. This person will be guilt-tripped into doing everything for the supposedly hard-working middle mid-range narcissist. He will use his facade of being a regular guy to keep the primary source in place. He will unleash repeated silent treatments, blame shifting and projection to maintain the upper hand. B. Familial secondary sources. The middle mid-ranger has reliable and extensive familial secondary sources. He is either well regarded by those of the coterie, who consider him to be a well-brought-up son, well-regarded nephew and brother, or as someone who is prone to being viewed as sensitive, being the unknowing victim's view of this particular narcissist. Either way, the family secondary circle is one which is compliant for the middle mid-ranger. C. Colleague secondary sources. The middle mid-ranger has a reasonable sized fuel matrix at work. This is roughly equal between those who consider him a diligent worker and reliable, and those who consider him to be untrustworthy and a brown noser. Whilst the middle mid-ranger will make pity plays concerning the unfair attitude of the latter group, the fact remains that he has engagement with well over a dozen people, possibly more, dependent on the size of the workplace, all of which are locked into his fuel matrix. D. With respect to the social secondary sources, the middle mid-ranger does not have an extensive social circle. His matrix draws from the intimate partner primary source and the secondary sources through family and work. Lacking the charisma and grandiose behaviors which might draw people to him socially in significant numbers, the middle mid-ranger keeps his social circle small, with perhaps 4 to 6 inner circle friends. He will not see these friends with significant regularity, but instead does so more through the auspices of organised events, such as dinner parties amongst the groups or attendance at functions. E. The middle mid-ranger will have an intimate partner secondary source at the appropriate time. He is capable of securing the attentions of 2 intimate partner secondary sources through a combination of intelligence and manipulation. He relies, like the lower mid-range narcissist, on the workplace being the feeder ground for the selection and cultivation of these intimate partner secondary sources. Somewhat ponderous in nature and also very much aware of his facade, the middle mid-ranger is careful to keep the intimate partner primary source and intimate partner secondary sources very separate. F. The middle mid-ranger will engage with tertiary sources as a consequence of job, social life, and general community involvement. Again, his awareness of the facade means that his engagements, for the most part, will be benign in nature. Should a tertiary source wound him, he is less likely to lash out at that tertiary source and instead more likely to triangulate the individual through the raising of a complaint to the relevant person.